Hello everyone, this is Zeeebo and welcome to this AFK journey video. So in this AFK journey video, it's the time of the season again where we get a really OP Graveborn character. This time around in the form of Shemira, where this character is actually pretty powerful on the damage side with a whole bunch of synergies going on. So first of all, just a disclaimer, right now we are on Mr. Jackie's account. He's currently super duper far ahead in terms of the deficit push side. So not the furthest. I've seen some players reaching like 3.5 or what, but I think 3.2 is really far ahead, and in terms of deficit would be enough to showcase Shemira's prowess. So first of all, this team, I'll say it's like an alternative to like your usual Bonnie teams, because I think what Shemira does for the team is pretty similar to Bonnie in a sense. Massive magical damage, as well as the ability to deal AoE damage, and also just having a lot of synergy in the team in general. So Bonnie synergy is with Decay's reach, as well as the debuff such that the opponent is a lot weaker so that your team can survive better. For Shemira's case would be just straight up damage. So this team right here is one of the like really good teams to push. I'll showcase like auto runs as I'm speaking. So this team over here is really good because obviously we have twins for like the best support unit with the haze buff, the heal, as well as the factional stat synergy. And then with Pheromore will be able to buff up the attack of one ally, but in this case we are not using Pheromore for the buff side. We're using Pheromore for his damage potential over here, Sanctified Circle, with the ability to prevent the enemies from healing. This is really important because like AFK stages, especially at the highest deficit, has a whole bunch of units that can heal. So Pheromore's anti-heal is insanely good here. And last but not least, the Beta Requiem right here. So this ability allows your allies to deal true damage. I've tested quite a fair bit of Pheromore together with our dear Shemira over here. And what I believe, right, is the case in terms of the synergy right here is that the magical circle weakens enemies within it, allowing allies to deal additional true damage, right? So what this means is, with regards to the allies, they never specifically state that, you know, the ghost is not an ally. So allies could include the summons, allies could include the unit, and the ghost, which is like a part of the unit skill specifically. So that's what I believe. I think the ghost is like a form of summon, which is considered an ally, which means that this ghost, as they are passing through the enemy, is also dealing that true damage portion of Sanctified Circle for additional damage. So later on you guys will see a few replays, and also like some replays on this on auto as I'm speaking, where this combo just does a lot of damage and Shemira just does so much damage together with Pheromore in the team. So for this team itself, I think Iron needs no introduction. Tarsi's there for the synergy, fractional synergy together with additional control and also additional damage. And then we have obviously like twins for the different like good buffs, the factional link, as well as obviously the heals, which this team I'll say needs a little bit, because like you do have really good damage output and control, but every team needs a little bit of good sustain, maybe a little bit of frontlining power. But for this team itself, I think Iron is a decent frontliner with the support of twins. So this is the team that we have been using to push through. So we're gonna run through auto battle and showcase how this team looks like. So this is a very auto friendly team right now. For AFK Stage Push, I usually only run auto friendly teams. There are certain situations where I still manual, for example if I need to reposition Iron's ultimate, but in most cases this team over here super duper friendly. Like it is just a team that can run on its own because of the massive damage output potential of Pheromore together with our dear Shemira. So later on we will actually run through the damage numbers. So some of you guys might be wondering, hey Zip, isn't this just like the usual Bonnie Iron comps? And like, you know, what's different between Bonnie and Shemira? So like I mentioned earlier, there are some fundamental difference earlier. Bonnie has, I'll say, like more of a debuff buff for the whole team kind of synergy, whereas Shemira is just straight up damage, because Shemira has AoE damage in the second skill. Shemira has single target damage with AoE damage on the third skill, and Shemira's ultimate is technically a single target AoE skill because the ghost can like move around and hit a lot of targets all together. And this is where the difference between the two units will lie in the fact that if you need more damage, Shemira is probably the way to go. If you need more debuff survival, then Bonnie is the way to go. So like, what unit in this team can be replaced? I think the unit that can be replaced obviously would be Shemira herself, because you got Bonnie as a substitute. For Twins case, it's tough because Twins is able to just provide so much for the team, such that like you kind of need Twins not only for like the buffs itself, but you need a little bit of haste there. I mean, you need a little bit of heal there, together with like that energy regen with all the stats buff that the Twins they are able to provide. So if you look at this team over here, I guess Tasi could be a possible replacement, maybe for like Almas, which we're going to try in the next one. But this is the damage number for Shemira. We're going to showcase one more run. I guess for this team over here, we can actually run Almas. Yeah, so for this one, right, what we are gonna do is we're gonna give the additional attack buff from Almas onto our dear Shemira over here, such that she can actually carry us really hard. Okay, so without further ado, let's start this battle. Okay, so this would probably be the other substitute. I think for the control side, it would be maybe Tasi for Almas, Tasi for an additional control unit. For Pheromore's end, I think it's tough, because Pheromore is a really good damage dealer with the ability to buff, which gives you more heal or more damage depending on who you use his buff for. And more importantly, I think Pheromore's anti-heal is super duper important as we move into all the deficit stages, because yeah, like I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of very tanky and very heal heavy units or setup and comms itself. So right here, this is another alternative in terms of the team build. But Shemira is shaping out to be a unit that's very similar to Bonnie, but I think Shemira's more damage centric, whereas Bonnie has a little bit of like debuff and also like buffing for the team. So Shemira together with Bonnie is also an amazing combo. Like I think Shemira and Bonnie together is like, oh, really, really good, because Bonnie is able to buff up magical damage as well as ultimate damage, which is the main source of damage that Shemira deals right here. So in this scenario, where hey, my team might not be surviving that well, then it could be the case where hey, Bonnie might be better, right? So it is like a substitute where you can use. But based on my testing so far, we're going to showcase a damage comparison between the two units later. I'll say Shemira is more powerful on the damage side in case you need those additional damage to push through. So that is with regards to Shemira's positioning. So this is how the combo looks like. So once you reach a certain extent where the enemy numbers are really low, and then you're just like Shemira running wild on the battlefield, then yeah, she's just gonna carry you with like her sustain as well as her damage numbers over here. So she has her own inbuilt sustain in terms of the shielding from her EX weapon. So that's that, really, really good stuff. So we're left with 10 seconds. Unfortunately, Pheromore fell. So this is the problem with Almas. Almas is very control centric, but Almas damage output, or like what he can do in terms of the boosting portion, is not the best. So this is with regards to the distribution. So you can see in this case, Pheromore died pretty early, so Shemira did a lot more. Let's just run through one more. Okay, so this is for talent drops. Later on, we'll showcase another normal AFK stage to showcase the power of this team. So in this case, I think the marksman actually hits pretty hard. So I guess we might actually need to include our... Yeah, we might actually need to include our Almas in this. We'll give it a try. I think we need that control. So I don't think we need to give Pheromore that factional bonus, because like we want that stat buff from the Twins as well as the haste. Okay, because we want to burst the opponent down together. So this is Pheromore with the Twins buff. Later on, we'll do the damage comparison. So this is our dear Shemira with the prime carrier buff, and Pheromore with only the Twins buff right here. Okay, so pull everyone together, we get that like twin cycling with the Iron Almas control, and then Pheromore with Shemira for the damage number over here. So pretty solid comp. I think the idea of this comp is really, really good, and I've actually autoed many stages before recording this video over here to come to this video to showcase Shemira's numbers as well as the team. So yeah, this is like how the battle looks like once the cycle goes through itself. And in most cases, this is what like the Iron Tasi team does as well. So what Shemira does in terms of value adding into the team would be the damage side. So this team could be lacking a little bit of damage, and if you have no issue surviving, you need more damage, I think Shemira is the go-to replacement over Bonnie in those kind of situations. So that is with regards to this team. Okay, I think we should be able to clear it, because like Shemira's damage number is so big, so big. Okay, so we have 10 seconds left. Might not be able to clear it because like we do have the control, but we are lacking a little bit of damage. So this is where I can use this scenario to maybe compare Bonnie's damage number. So this is Shemira's damage number right here. Okay, so we're gonna run the exact same team setup and then compare it with Bonnie. Okay, so throw in a Bonnie and we will see the damage number. So I think if we put a Tasi, we will clear the stage, but we're gonna use the exact same team setup to just showcase the number difference between two of the strongest Gravebonds in the game right now in terms of the meta, other than maybe Ludovic. Yeah. Okay, so the cycle repeats itself and I will skip to the damage portion. Okay, so this is the final damage number. Exact same team, exact same positioning, full duration battle, and you can see that Bonnie's number is a little bit lower compared to Shemira. Very impressive, still really good, but Shemira is slightly higher. And you also realize that Pheromone's damage number is a little bit lower. This could be attributed to a few reasons, like for example, the ultimate not hitting as optimally in auto setting, because like we don't like manual our ultimate on our Pheromone here. So we could definitely push up his damage if we optimize the casting of the ultimate with our own manual controls, but we're just going to keep the experiment the same, which is just auto all the way. So it could be the case that the ultimate wasn't placed properly, or it could be the case where the beta recurrent part of the skill, right? Because there are lesser units, because there's no ghost in this situation to attack the enemies, this damage output from Pheromone from this part of the skill is reduced. And as promised earlier, we're going to showcase Shemira's performance in the normal AFK stage side. So for this team over here, looking at the enemies, we have quite a few enemies that are very annoying, very mobile. So we will focus more on the control side, and for this we will take out Pheromone for Tasi and Almas instead. Okay, then Shemira will be our main damage dealer. So for this one, I think we should have no issue surviving, right? I guess we can use Harmonic, or we can use Light Forge as well. Yeah, we try Light Forge synergy, because execution helps our Shemira kill off the enemy a little bit faster, and then we might actually get a good buff on her. Oh wait, Tasi actually died really fast. Okay, so I guess we still need Surging Spell for that. So we're gonna use Surging Spell, because like, yeah, we need to survive for our full cycle to pull through. Okay, so let's go. Okay, we're gonna finish the battle soon, and that's it for this video. Okay, thank you very much for tuning in, and do remember to like and subscribe to see more from this channel. I'll see you guys again in my next AFK journey video. Okay, damage numbers right here, and bye guys.